When did you start doing improv?
So I did that after, a natural progression from investment banking is private equity. And so I decided to do private equity.
Don't have to tell me. just thinking that myself.
Yeah. So of course you go into private equity. Okay. I'm going to be boring all your listeners with all this like finance talk. So that was a natural progression. But at that point I was starting to realize like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. You know, like I'm going to do private equity because that's like the natural step.
Yeah.
So I took 3 months off in between and traveled to find myself.
Oh, did you find yourself?
I did.
Where'd you find yourself?
I hiked Kilimanjaro.
Oh, fuck.
And I
By
did,
yourself? Or did you get like a little dude?
You have to.
Sherpas?
You have to get a dude.
Is it Sherpas at Kilimanjaro? Or is that just Everest?
It's not. I don't know if they call it Sherpas. Porters.
Porters.
And you have to do it with a guide. The Kilimanjaro, like the country requires it. You can't just go up by yourself. So I did that.
Hell yeah. How long did that take you?
I did the Marangu route. So I think it was 4 days up, 2 days down.
Damn.
It was amazing. I thought I was going to die. I had not trained enough at all. Like, not at all.
Did you listen to any music on the way up? Or just your breath?
At that point,
you were listening to some This American Life or something. Look at you.
No, I wish, right? I don't think I did. Actually, I remember. So I'd signed up for this online, and there were 2 other girls who I'd met on the first day of like, we all hired the same guide, and we're doing this. I remember on the day before the final ascent, and like all of us there was one woman from Los Angeles and another woman from Scotland.
Yeah.
And all 3 of us were like, all of us were in the same physical shape where we had not prepared for how difficult this was going to be.
Yeah.
So we were all like eating dinner, like, and the ascent, like the final day and a half was ahead of us. And we were just like, how are we going to get through this? We're like getting killed. Like we can barely breathe. And at that point, the oxygen is so low, we're barely sleeping.
Yeah.
And we were exhausted. And there were 2 Kiwis, 2 women from New Zealand who were on their way down because the route we took, there are like multiple routes up, but everyone has to come down the same route. And we were on that route. We were on the route that everyone comes down. So we had been seeing people the entire time. We were coming back and they're like, guys, it's amazing. Good luck. It's like, good. We had the range of like, good luck. You're going to need it. And people were completely fed like, it's amazing. You'll love it. And so we asked these 2 women who were on their way down, and we're like, we have this ascent coming up, and what do you guys suggest? Like listening to music? Because we were all like, how are we going to get through this? And these 2 women were like, oh, you don't want to listen to music. You just want to experience it. And we were like, we are past that.
Fuck these guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. We were like, oh my God, fuck you both. We're going to. So I actually think on the last day we did listen to music. I think all of us listened to something.
That's funny.
Because it was so painful.
What made you want to do that? Of all the mountain ranges, was there a specific reason for that one?
It was my first hike. I had never gone hiking before. I was going a little crazy at that time. I had just left investment banking. I had my private equity job, and I just wanted to go. I was for a lot of reasons, I was trying to get away from everything.
Right.
I was trying to get away from my parents, from my job, from the guy I was dating at that time, who is now my husband. So,
that's fun.
It was, and not because I didn't like him or anything. It was because of like familial.
Yeah.
Like I was, I came from a very traditional family, and I had expectations of an arranged marriage, and there was that happening. And then my boyfriend at the time was like, "What's our future?" And I was like, "I don't know." I'm getting pressure from I was getting pressure from my boyfriend at the time. Was like, "What's going on with this?" I was getting pressure from my parents. It was like, you need to get married soon. I was getting work pressure of like, what are you doing with your life? You can do private equity. And I just needed to get away.
So it was more getting somewhere rather than specific destinations.
Yeah. And it was, and I'd always wanted to go to Africa, but I wanted to go where I'd be completely cut off. So I didn't want to have access to cell phones or internet, computers or anything.
That's awesome.
So I chose the camping safari. So we did a safari through like the Serengeti,
Hell yeah,
Ngorongoro Crater, everything, but it was camping. So I had no access to cell phones and internet or anything. And it was like a 3-week safari. And I was like, this is great. I just want to get away from everything I know for 3 weeks. That sounds great. And I hit, purchase. And there's a little window that popped up. It's like, would you like to add a Kilimanjaro hike to your trip? And I was like, why the fuck not? And that is how I added the Kilimanjaro hike.
That's awesome.
Like it was I was just like,
you got upsold.
Yeah,
That's
I totally, yeah. And I was just at the point I was like, I am ready to like get away, get out. Like I just needed that at that point in my life.